So what I was gonna say, obviously the first year of you being in the Australian KD network, it's understandable that there isn't going to be that much that gets done because everyone's sort of trying to work out like what can we do, where's a good place to go. Because I scrolled through that the chat log and I noticed that you were like I didn't even realize that I think it was Linux Conf existed. Um, so that first year, everyone's kind of just trying to get used to it and work out like what even can we do. But going into 2024, obviously you can't make any promises about exactly what is going to happen, but what would you like to get done?
Uh,
Or at least try to
specifically
get
for
done.
specifically for KDE Network Australia, we want to at least turn up to our first event. Would
Mm-hmm.
be a good start. um, we want to turn up to an event and at least get that done. See
Mm-hmm.
if we can promote. See how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And mainly just test the waters
Mm-hmm.
is one of the first things we want to do is in 2024. Test
Mm-hmm.
the waters, work out, okay, is is this particular event something we want to go to?
Yep. Yep.
And also getting the promotion materials made primarily,
Mm-hmm.
because I do not currently own a KDE promo tablecloth. I do
Right.
not own a KDE promo banner. Um, Once we've got those sorted, we can
Mm-hmm.
just bring those across to as many events as we go to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not currently a thing that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So getting those basic materials and going to that first event is our primary goal.
Mm-hmm.
And just showing off, seeing if this event is someone that already knows about us,
Mm-hmm.
or even something I've sort of thrown around. Why don't we go to something that isn't specifically open source related?
Mm-hmm.
What if we go to something that is like techie? So there'd be people who would potentially be interested in our software, even if they're using Windows, because a lot of our software exists on Windows.
Mm-hmm.
Like Krita and Kden Live, again, those are the two big ones I can think of. Oh, and Oculus actually really nice on Windows as well. So those main three apps,
Mm-hmm.
just sort of demonstrating those both both Windows and Linux and
Mm-hmm.
Mac OS, but I'm not bringing my Mac out to an event. That thing is heavy. Showing how, look, we make software for everything. This is entirely KDE. This is Windows with a couple of KDE apps.
Mm-hmm.
Even in things that aren't specifically open source related, because while we can show ourselves off in the open source bubble, and there'll be things that people didn't know about,
Mm-hmm.
bursting that bubble and advertising outside of that is one of the best things that we can do. For
Yeah.
example, how much did we get done at Scale 19 versus the film festival?
Mm-hmm.
The film festival had a much more positive impact
Mm-hmm.
than Scale 19X.
Yeah.
Scale 19X was still it's still a very good event that we definitely was worth going to,
Absolutely. Yeah.
but the film festival had a much more positive impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um,
If you're just talking to people that already use Linux and maybe some of them already use KDE. Like it's great to be there. It's great to have some representation there, but you don't like it's sort of the problem that the FSF has had for a long time where you don't need to advertise free software to the people that are using free software. Like they know it's good already. Like there's not a ton that you can really achieve there.
yes, and again, because we're promoting free software via KDE, we
Mhm.
aren't really advertising KDE versus GNOME or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's not our goal. Um, So yeah, we've tossed around ideas of different events that we can go to. Team up with an artist
Mhm.
and go to some convention where there'll be a lot of artists.
Mhm.
Um, I've tossed around the idea of going to a FurCon, like a furry convention.
Mhm.
Um, Teaming up with a critter artist, um, sharing sharing a booth with them and saying, look, we have an artist here. They do Critter. We are the people that make Critter.
Mhm.
Critter's free. Use it. It's good. That's not actually the pitch, but you get what I.
Yeah,
You
I
get
get
what I
what you're
mean.
saying.
I'd have something much better if I actually went ahead and did that.
Well, Crit, I think, is a really good example there because I've watched some streams from artists, and like people will talk about Critter as just a good tool. They'll be like, "Oh, I use Clip Studio Paint. I use Critter," and it's just like as a part of just a list of things they use. They just don't think about the people behind it. So that, I think, is a really easy entry point that already has some public recognition. It's just the people behind it don't really have that same recognition.
Yes. It's sort of advertising. We make Critter. Look at what else we make.
Yeah.
Is definitely something we can do,
Mhm.
and that would also be part of the pitch that we would do there if we went ahead and went to a FurCon, or if we went to anything else where there'd be a large amount of artists. Or there's lots of different places we can go with lots of different things that can be done. At the moment, we've just got to decide where to go and what we should be primarily promoting there.
I'm sure that's sort of the tough part as well. Just working out exactly how to do the whatever demos and presentations are going to be done, because I'm assuming none of the people involved have any experience doing that.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of experience directly doing that. I have done like little fundraisers in like before, like I did a fundraiser for my robotics team recently when we had to go over to the US when we were not expecting to have to do that. We went to an event. They were like, "Oh yeah, congratulations, you've won. You can go to the US now. It's in a month, by the way." So I have experience doing that sort of thing, but going to a convention to and being behind a booth instead of the other way around would be very different, and not very many people have experience with that. So, I mean, it's something I'm sure I can sort of pick up as I go along, but it's definitely going to be new for me, but new skills are new skill. Again, I'm gaining out of this as well. I'm, getting up my public speaking. Yeah.
And I'm sure that first time doing it is going to be a really big learning experience that'll really help out with the second time. Because, the first time, you might have a plan in mind, but when you put that into practice, it doesn't really play out the way you think it does. So doing that, and then the second time, you're like, okay, here's what worked, here's what didn't work, let's do it let's try it out in another way and just see if this actually clicks. And then maybe there's also sort of a different way of doing it that works better at certain events. Like if you're doing a very techie event, you can present things in one way, whereas if you're doing something like that film festival, there might be a whole different way you'd want to present it. Like with the some sort of techie event, there's a lot of things you can assume the people there probably know. Like, you don't really need to explain the concept of what open source is to a general tech conference. Most people probably have an understanding, but if you're dealing with a film festival, maybe no one there has any idea.
Yes. Although explaining what exactly open source is to that sort of degree isn't exactly the most important thing. I
Well, yeah,
think
maybe
saying
it's
free.
But
it's
that's
free, is the most important.
What I was going to get at there is maybe you realize that you don't need to explain it. Like, you do that once, and then you're like, oh, that's actually not that important. It's, as you said, it's it being free that's a lot more important to it.
Yeah. If they stick around for a bit, because again, you only have so long before the person gets bored and walks over to some other booth.
Yeah.
The most important thing is we make this editing software. It's free. Here's a laptop that has
Yeah.
it on, has it installed.
Mhm.
Look at what you can do.
Mhm.
It's good. Give them a sticker or something.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
I think that's what the film festival did. They were giving out stickers to anyone who popped over to the booth.
That is a good way to do it. Everyone loves stickers. They don't know what they're gonna do with them, but they'll just take a sticker.
That is me. I do that. I will always take a sticker if there is one on a table.